Welcome Arabic learners again. I hope you have enjoyed the previous parts and videos and you have benefited from them. Now we are in part 7 and this time we are going to see 4 letters which look the same and what applies to one of them applies to the others. Guys, another invitation to subscription. I will be glad to have you on my list of subscribers. So let's move to see these letters, so I will not take much of your time. Well, basically today we're going to see 4 letters as you see on the screen. 4 letters. They somehow have the same way of being used within words. As usual, the way we are going to work is from right to left, just to know how things will go. Well, the first letter is called in Arabic or pronounced in Arabic as Sad. Sad. Guys, if you see, it's not sad. No. S is the equivalent of the Arabic letter Sin, but here it's Sad. Sad. If you see here, I write it is a fat S. Fat S. It's not that thin S. No, it's like S. S. Sad. Sad. Great. So when you are to write it in words, in the beginning it must be attached to the letter that comes after it, whatever the letter is. Like in the example Sadiqun, which means a friend. If you are to write it in the middle, it must be attached to both letters, the one preceding and the one coming after. Like in the word Musalla, the place where we pray. And if you are to write it at the end, it must be attached to the letter that comes before it. Nice. Like in the word here, naqasa, which means to decrease. Naqasa, you see, naqasa. And you can say nafasa or naqasa. Sa. Sin, sad. Sin, sad. Great. The idea here for the letter Dad, Dad, again, it's not dad, no, it's a fat D, Dad, Dad. You can squeeze a little bit the middle of your tongue to your lower and little of your upper teeth. Dad, Dad, Dad. Concerning how we write it within words, it's just the same as Sad. What applies to Sad applies to the letter Dad also. So there are exceptions which we are going to see at the end of the lesson. Now let's move to the letter here, to the letter, this one, Ta, Ta. If you see in English, we have just T. We have just T, but it is fat T. These words or these letters are all fat versions of the English alphabet, fat versions. So we say Ta, Ta, not Ta. No, it's not Ta. It's not T. It's Ta, Ta. Nice. If you are to write it in words, again, in the beginning, it must be attached to the letter that comes after it, like in the word طفل, a child. If you are to write it in the middle, it must be attached to both letters preceding and after it, like in the word matarun, the rain. If you are to write it at the end, it must be attached to the letter that comes before it, and it's something like pronounced qiston, which means part of something or justice. Great. The fourth letter is Dhad. Dhad. You see, it's fat version of the sound that we use in the English definite article the. It must be the, Dhad. Great. And what applies to ta applies to Dhad in terms of what? In terms of where or how it is written in words, either beginning or end or middle. The same applies to Dhad. There is a remark, the exception which I told you in the beginning. All these 4 letters, Sad, Dad, Ta, and Dhad, when they come after alif or waw, they are written separated from these two letters. They cannot be attached to them. After them, they cannot be attached. Like in the example here, balatun, which means a palace, like jabbas, which means a person who make like painting houses and making decorations. And in the word here, like shurutun, you see we have waw, which means conditions. So we cannot attach tha to waw, we cannot attach sad to alif, and we can attach tha to alif. The good point here is that these four letters have the same application. What applies to one of them applies to the rest. Guys, this is the lesson for today. This is part 7. We saw 4 letters. Expect the following part 8 tomorrow or even today, inshallah. Guys, again, my invitation to you, please subscribe, share the video, like, leave a comment about how you think this could be bettered up, and best regards.